you proposed to her, right?
I don't know how that really went down. I told her that we were and she said, well, she wasn't playing. We went from engaged for what, a week?
Wasn't no week.
No, it wasn't no week.
But I mean, you just said it like,
you know.
Okay, let me ask you.
I think we want to be together. Now that's for us to move as fast as we did, like from the engagement to the marriage. We want to be together. We want to be in one house. We want to be together. So we say, well, hey, let's just make it legit.
So do y'all know that this is rare, or is this not rare?
I don't even really think about it. You know, it's one thing that everybody experiences all day, every day. And that's just life, man. This is just our life experience. This is just what was happening in our life. This is just the way God set it up for us in our life. And it's not like we're teenagers or early 20s. So why were we playing around? Why were we waiting? If we wanted to be together, why won't we be together? And if it was a mistake, it's one thing about mistakes. They can always be corrected. I could have went my way, she could have went her way.
So let me ask both of y'all this based on what you just said, because that's really good. Do you think age matters? Like in terms of, would you recommend or not recommend somebody if they're in their 20s, even early 20s or late 20s, to be like, you moving too fast?
I would say that you're moving too fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you haven't had the opportunity to live. Even though now they have people that grow up together, know each other, in the Lisa, right? They knew each other from the block. They girl, right? So that worked. But for me to just meet somebody as a teenager or early 20s, and it's love at first sight, and we don't know anything about each other, nothing, but we decided that we're going to get married. Now the relationship may be terrible, boyfriend and girlfriend, except for the sex. All we had in common is sex, right? And we may like a couple things because she's just really starting to get into sports, right? She's a stepper, and I'm an athlete type guy, right?
Okay.
So now she's just coming around to sports. I like dominoes and chess and stuff like that. She doesn't like that stuff, but she hadn't given herself a chance. But I'm not really into stepping. As a matter of fact, she tells me I hucklebuck. Right?
I haven't heard that one.
So, but I'll go out with her because that's what she likes to do.
Got it.
And
so you say based on that, like y'all had time to figure out who you are as individuals first.
I knew that I didn't mind sacrificing stuff. You know what I mean? Like going to a stepper set. I wouldn't have ordinarily just went to a stepper set.
But you don't think in your 20s you would have sacrificed that? I'm saying if somebody wanted to do something.
Maybe with a motive. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I would have went with a motive.
But now it's like you were just, look.
Because that's what she likes. So, I mean, I need to learn how to be a part of what she likes.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's a grown man.
Right.
I like that. What about you? Do you think he said no, like flat out, like no, I wouldn't recommend nobody, like based on the experience that y'all had in terms of age.
Not that young, because you have to learn yourself. I mean, I don't have anything against young people. I just think you need to experience life. You know, I mean, if it works, it works.
Right. I mean, we always have.
This is an exception. I mean, it's an 18-year difference between us. Yeah.
And I was married before in my early 20s, and we were too young. You know what I mean? So she and I was too young.
How long were you married with that marriage?
You know, I don't even really know. I don't even really know when we got divorced. We have 2 children, and she and my dad every day almost was telling me, y'all should get married, y'all should get married, y'all should get married, to the point that they wore me down. And I said, okay, let's get married. So we wasn't getting married for the right reasons. It's like I work with people with some substance issues, and they continue to try to do it for someone else, and it doesn't work because they're not doing it for them. So if I had been saying let's get married because I want to get married, maybe it would have worked if she wanted and I wanted. She wanted to get married and I wanted to get married. She wanted to be with me and I wanted to be with her. But we had, in the previous marriage, we had children So we were getting married for all the wrong reasons. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Not to say now we could have had children and it worked, right? If the feelings were there, if everything was clicking, you know what I mean?
Got it. Were you married before?
No.
Never. Alright, so that still was a big step for you then. Because based on your experience, and then I forget, you said, like, your whole relationship is unique. Getting married in 2 months, that's not the norm. Like, was it anything moving into the relationship that you were expecting? Or you were just free, or you were just...
I was just happy and felt like I was in love, and I just felt like found somebody that finally, loved me for me,
Talk about that, because both of y'all said it. Like, I feel like I have talked to a lot of people that they felt like somebody was the one and they didn't take that leap. But both of y'all saying the same thing, which is, I felt she was the one. Like, a couple weeks, you said, I had the feeling. And you said, like, especially, I got to hone in on this, especially coming out of something that wasn't working. Because most people say, well, I need time now. I just need to be to myself, or I just need
I felt like I was by myself anyway.
So it didn't make a difference. But you still felt like he was the one instantly.
Pretty much, yeah.
What does that feel like? Does it look like something for those people who like, well, I don't know if she's the one. I don't know if he's the one.
Everything, you know what I did when it first started, and I would do this with relationship in the past. I was like, God, send me a sign. Don't waste my time. If it's not to be, don't waste my time. And what happened was, he was still in a relationship. He was easing out of it.
Yeah.
And he kind of broke up with me. And I was like, oh my God. But then the next day, we were inseparable. Something I don't recall exactly what happened, but that was my sign, and I was like, okay, it's not gonna work. But it wasn't a lasting sign. Which is kind of crazy, but.
So you say ask God for a sign?
Yeah, and I asked him for the sign, and I guess the sign was, to open his eyes up to see, if this is really gonna be what it was. So.
And you said the sign was her mother, or was the
sign
something
that's
else?
her. I mean, I trust God. I trust God completely. I trust God. I think that He ordained stuff. He put stuff into place. So meeting her, the first time I met her was at Marista's barbecue, and I saw her for the briefest of moments. And even though I didn't know she was asking about me, but I saw her again when I was moving you, right? When my brother and I went over to price the job, right? And then I saw her again on moving day. So I had no idea that.
He showed no interest on moving day.
Because I had somebody, right?
I'm about to say, how could you show no interest? You got this woman,
but
she looking good, she looking like she interested.
But I had someone.
Okay.
So even though my other relationship, it wasn't. I mean, I should have known immediately that it wasn't going to be a good relationship, because the first time that she came to my home and I left out the room, she was going through my phone, right?
Oh, wow.
So she had trust issues.
So you already saw the sign.
Right, but I still maintained the relationship, right? But that let me know that someone in her past, it's like I was telling you earlier, somebody in her past had hurt her, right? And so she had trust issues, and she lumped everybody into that same basket, like this is who men are. And nothing could be more wrong than to think that just because the guy has his pants sagging and a hoodie on, that he's a thug. That's not that's not the truth. He may be the most intelligent guy on earth. He may be going to get his PhD. You don't know what he is, but you've already classified him based on his dress.
Right. You
don't know anything about him. So she assumed that all men basically were the same. So she really had trust issues through the whole thing. And the last day that she and I played. It was going to be a struggle in that relationship anyway because we were both competitive. We played dominoes, we played backgammon, we played cards, whatever it was we played, we would race to get home, because we were competitive. So we were always competing against each other instead of doing stuff with each other. You know what I mean? So that wasn't going to work anyway.
And so, based on those experiences, and you kept seeing your wife, like you kept seeing, and
Well, once initially, I think after the trip to the barbershop, and I came back, and she called. I think from that point on, I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be.
But what about that though? Was it that she was serious? Like, was it what was it for you? Because once again, you do have an age difference. Like, you are older than her, so you have had experiences, and so I'm pretty sure you have had women call you before, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so what was that? That call meant something to you, or it showed you something. What did it show you?
I think she called me that day.
I did. I told you.
She called me that day and said, "You made my day."
Yeah, because I was feeling really bad. My mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was going through her. She didn't have to have chemo, but she was healing, and so I was over there taking care of her, and it was really stressful, and it really boosted my spirit because I felt like it was just I was going down the chute,
And so about him coming, just being him, just.
Kind of popped up, showing a little interest. Yeah,
it just popped up. Really,
I needed it. That's what I needed for that moment.
Got it. So do you feel like that's? I just want to sit on that for a second because that's a gem in itself. I always say gem alert, but that's a gem and just showing a person you care. Did you? But you didn't even know she was going through that at the time.
No, but God did.
So you was just present.
Something told me just to go by there. And generally, if you really stop to think about it, most people, God's most used name is something told me.
Something told me.
Yeah, everybody said it. Something told me to do this or something told me to do that.
So a lot of times, based on my question I originally asked, like how could you help somebody know, like, because y'all felt it, what that feeling looked like, what it sound like, what just being present to what did you hear?
I think
because you said God told me.
We're spirits, right? So I think a lot of time we have to listen to our spirit, and a lot of time we don't listen to our spirit, we listen to our flesh, right? So a lot of time your spirit is saying something, but what you have is choice. So you don't have to listen to your spirit. You don't have to listen to your flesh. But you're going to make a choice. You're going to listen to something because every day, all day, we activate choice. You know what I mean? So when my spirit told me, well, just go by there. And I was out west. That's the crazy part to me, really looking back at it right now. I was out on Central Park in Jackson, by Jackson and Central Park. And something told me, even though I couldn't get the haircut, that line, and something told me still to go by there.
You sure it wasn't no alternative motives?
No, because I had no expectations of anything. I wasn't looking to do anything. And I'm kind of pushy. And I think that even though she may be working off of appointments, somebody wasn't going to show up by the time I got there. Stuff like that. Right? My mind works like that.
Got you.
And she tells me that to the day. Well, you have to do this. You have to schedule this. I'm not basically a last person.
He's a last minuter.
I just go. I'm spontaneous.
I'm structured. Time early.
What's good, y'all? Look, we gotta take a quick break, and we're gonna get right back to the podcast. I just gotta highlight our sponsor of the podcast, 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand, one of the hottest clothing brands coming out of the Chicagoland area. They cater to men, women, and children. It's fashionable all year round, and they represent what the podcast represents: family, love, and unity. So go get you some 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand right now. Go to 7loveapparel.com and type in Love Conquers 20, and you'll get 20% off because they're a sponsor of the podcast. So let's get right back to this episode. I mean, y'all giving a lot of good information. Be present to the signs when you figure out if somebody's made for you. Be present, like you said. You were just led, and you actually followed your intuition. You actually followed what you felt. And I don't know. Maybe a lot of people don't follow that because maybe a lot of people are not. Because I talk to a lot of guys all the time, and they say, "Man, bro, it's hard to find a girl nowadays." I'm like, "Is it really?" I don't know. I haven't been in the dating world in a minute. I've been with my wife for a long time now, so I'm like, "Is it really that hard?" And I see people post on social media like, "I can't find a person," or "I can't find a spouse," and I don't know what is that. Do you think people are just not listening? They're not in the right environments? What do you think that is?
I think we're imperfect people looking for somebody else to be perfect. We want the perfect this, the perfect that, but we are all imperfect. But I know I'm imperfect, but I'm looking for somebody else to be perfect. I want everything you do to be right, and that's impossible. It's not going to happen. That person don't exist. You know what I mean?
No, and I'm taking that in. That's good, and I really don't even know, where to take that because most people feel like a lot of people feel like they stuff don't stink.
Well, I think that's what really makes our relationship really good. I'm able to allow her to be her. You know what I mean? I ain't telling you got to be this or you got to be that or you got to do this, you got to do that. The stuff you don't like to do, you just don't like to do. So why would I be trying to force you to do some stuff that you don't like to do?
So, and based on what you just said, and I want both of y'all opinion on this, because y'all been together 9 years, and that 9 years is really the entire time too. Like it ain't no maybe off and on, and y'all was together 9 years. There's based on that, was it some time that do y'all do a lot of stuff separate then? And
I move people, she cut hair, but other than that,
y'all together. It. Well, so how did y'all get through those moments where, like you just said, she really just now coming along with the sports and I'm.
But the sports is something we can sit down at TV together. We're together doing the sporting events, right? She even took me to a basketball game, right? Because she know I like it, so she took me to a basketball game. But getting her to come somewhere to play dominoes, that stuff, that ain't with her. You know what I mean?
It's a totally different dynamic. I'm gonna try, but that's a totally different dynamic.
So with the sports, like when you go to the sports, you just trying it because he likes it. I learned to like it. Right. I mean, I always like basketball, but now football, I don't know. I hated football. Now I like football because of him.
Because I want to be included. It's something we can do together.
And she's in the barbershop with Ed and the other guys are constantly talking about it.
Give me a conversation piece.
Right. So
that's good because I didn't walk in the shop and I didn't heard just talking some sports now.
Right. So that's a lot of that is Ed and the other guys that's in there, especially Coach and Keith them and Ed. And Frost and a couple of other guys, they are talking about sports constantly. So if she wants to be part of the conversation, she has to learn. You know what I mean?
Did you have any intention behind it, Angie, in terms of like knowing that your husband liked it? Like, was there any intention?
Yeah, because I mean, it's on the TV. It's at home. It's on TV. You either get in where you fit in, right? So if I don't want to go up in a room, see, I got a son that went away to school. So we were empty nesters for a while. COVID hit, he's back, and that's a long story, but at just being us, he's either in the back room or I'm up in the room watching TV. So if we want to be together, you got to get in where you fit in. I know he don't want to watch Atlanta Housewives,
but I do sometimes.
Stop it.
Sometimes I can name Portia and all them other doggone.
Oh, he naming people now.
Stop it. The basketball wives, all that different stuff.
Listen, I'm asking because we can really help some folk right now, right? Like, because there's some people who argue over that. You never spend time with me. You always watching a game. Or you never spend time with me. You always going out, maybe stepping or whatever. Or whatever that person does. Like, how can you help somebody? Like, what do you do in those moments? And I'm really looking for an answer from you because you said you didn't like it. Like you didn't like the football. But you knew that your husband did, and you said, I had to fit in. Like, that fitting in piece, was it hard, though? Because you didn't come from that. Because
I didn't want to go upstairs and be by myself, you know. I don't spend a lot of time by myself in the past year or so. You know, I want to be with my husband. So I'm like, okay, well, let me figure out let me ask this question about this, and what's a fumble, and is that a touchdown, or is that a field goal? Is that a punt?
Yeah.
You know, my husband's type, his voice, he has this bass and this.
I mean, he got that Barry White stuff.
But it's kind of, what word do I use? That is brash. He's very brash.
Gotcha.
But I know his brashness. You know, if you order a cheeseburger at the drive-in, it's just brash. And I'm like, they don't know you like I know you. But anyway.
So it can come off.
It comes off really. Yeah.
So in the beginning, was it like tough?
It's still like that. I'm just like, whatever.
So you say you weighed the pros and cons, like, yo, I would rather be with my husband.
Yeah, I'd rather be with him than go up there and watch the Housewives. I can watch that later on a Monday or Tuesday when I'm off and he's at work.
How did you incorporate your wife in that? Because, okay, y'all giving the gems now. Let's go. So a person come, they say, look, I want to be with my husband. Right? I don't know nothing about football. I don't even like football. But how did you incorporate her to make her feel comfortable with you? Like, did you even want her with you?
Yeah, all the time. Initially, it probably wasn't good because I'm kind of impatient.
Okay.
And when I tell her what a 1st and 10 is, what a 1st and 10 means, and then she turns around and asks me again, what the heck does what it means by 1st and 10, and I have to tell her again and maybe again, I'm kind of impatient. But I think the key is sacrifice, right? And don't be so selfish. I think in a lot of relationships, period, it doesn't have to be a married relationship, just relationship between people. I'm selfish. I want what I want, and this is how it should be. It's like I'm not willing to sacrifice or see it your way sometimes. I'm not just so closed-minded that I can't receive some new information. Because like I said before, I've been wrong before, so let me sacrifice some stuff. What's the end motive? Because when the game is over, I'm still with my wife, right?
Say that.
So I'm not finna let this game mess up the night, right? Dang, man, baby, no, right? Because dang,
let me rub up on you a little bit.
Push me to the side, right, for the game.
Let me ask you this. I guess this is important. Like, were you always like that, or did you have to just learn that over time?
I think it's over time, man. I think initially growing up, it's hard, especially if somebody hadn't shown you that you were wrong, to say that to feel like you're wrong. What you're thinking is wrong, because I'm thinking that I'm always right. It's almost like it's kind of almost like religion, right? You know how all the religious arguments, right?
Yeah.
But well, whatever it is, and I like to tell people that even though we may disagree, if you thought like I thought, and I thought like you thought, we both still think that we're thinking the truth. So I have to look at it from a different perspective other than mine, but that's just over a period of time. See, I've been on the planet, so I've got this some experiences.
Got it.
So my experience allows me, like you said, but you had to get through that. Like, I don't smoke, right? But I used to smoke.
Got it.
And it took a while to get around to the point to where I don't smoke. And I'll tell her, babe, you smoke. You can't be. She said, but you had to get there, right? I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do anything.
Right.
Right. But that wasn't always the case. It was a process of getting to that point where I don't smoke and I don't drink. I still don't want her to smoke.
That's another thing. He don't drink. He don't smoke. I don't smoke a lot, but I do smoke. But I don't drink a lot, but that's how opposite we are. He don't drink at all. Period. So we go out. I drink. He don't drink. I don't drink, but I'm not a big drinker though. But that's another thing. So we just total opposites. We go out. You want to drink? Have a drink.
I'll go to the bar to get your drink for her. Be you. Now, I don't want a robot, right? I don't want a robot. I want you to enjoy being you. Don't do it. Don't overindulge where it's going to hurt you. I'm the designated driver anyway. We're both not drinking.
Right.
I'm the designated driver. She, even though she drives from the passenger seat,
Right. Turn here.
But I'm basically the designated driver.
Gotcha.
But I just want her again, like we were saying in the beginning, man. I wanted to be happy, you know. Even to the point there, everything happens on a Sunday because Sunday is I'm just totally off. I'm not moving anybody. I'm not doing anything. But way back when, I already agreed that Sunday is your day. Whatever you want to do Sunday, we're going to do.
Yeah.
Now, if a really big move comes with some good money, babe, I'm sorry. You know. But basically, Sunday's her day.
Sunday's her day. So the key for you, like you said, is her happiness is key. And you understand that at the end of the day, after that particular thing, you got to go back to your wife anyway.
Anyway, man. She's not going anywhere.
So you might as well, that sacrifice is big.
Mm-hmm.
Let me come back to you, Miss Wilson. What is the big key that you can tell somebody in terms of being so different but clicking? Because like people get divorced, we know that. People argue. Like divorce, okay, separation. Let's say separation is the worst, right? Let's just say that. But people live in a relationship. That might be worse when you in a relationship and you just like miserable.
Yeah.
Like that might be worse than divorce because every day is toxic. But y'all every day isn't toxic. It's just different. And so like for that woman out there, or that man out there that's going through that, I don't know, I love this person. I really want to be with this person. But they so different from me. I don't even kind of understand them because they so different from me. Like, what would you tell that person?
I think it's really important that you have to like that person. It's the difference between liking and loving. You can love somebody, but you don't have to like them.
Gym alert.
You can love your husband and not like him. You can love your husband and not be in love with him.
Say that again.
I said you can love your husband but not be in love with him.
What does that mean?
That means you can love him as a person but not have that love and feeling like you're in love with him. Like that romance and all of that type thing. I like my husband. I love my husband. I'm in love with my husband. He's my best friend. And I think that's what makes us click.
That's deep. And I can relate to that so much because I always tell my wife like, yo, I'm gonna love you and it's okay if you don't like me today. Like, and that's fine. We're gonna talk about it because it's life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the fact that you said like that likability, like you're gonna always love your husband, but
right. I don't like him every day now.
Right.
But I really like him. I genuinely like him.
Like as a friend, as a human being.
Yeah, but on some days I don't like him.
I like it though.
But most of the time.
Just knowing, like, okay, I love you. Like, if you pass away, I love you. Like, if you need me to do something, I love you. But, like, do I like you though?
Right. Do I like you?
Like, can I just be friends with you?
Right.
And I think that connects with that sacrifice piece that you were talking about because if you like somebody, you can sacrifice for that person.
I think a lot too, look, man, you have to, what I do with Angie more than anybody, any relationship I've ever been in is I trust her. You know, people say, man, your wife's a barber?
Yeah.
She cuts men's hair? I tell them, yeah, they say, man, you let her cut men's hair. She was cutting hair when I met her. But you don't mind her cutting the men's hair? I said, man, she was cutting men's hair and she picked me. I'll say, babe, you want to go over to such and such and go stepping? I don't have to be there. I know guys are going to be trying to hit on her because she's attractive, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful. They're going to be trying to hit on her. They're going to put their hands on her while they're dancing with her. But I trust her. I don't trust them. I don't trust the guys whose hair she cut.
So let's talk about that real quick. So you, and I'm not going to say let her because she is her own person, but,
right.
And I don't even know, So you do step with other men?
I mean, when I don't go out anymore like I used to, but yes, it's a
no, I'm asking that because you know stepping is a
physical.
Yeah, it's a flow, and like you said, what made you feel? Because a lot of men not that comfortable to let their woman do. Some men don't even want their woman to talk to another man. You know what I mean? Like don't even. So when you say, because that's how I met your wife in the barbershop, right? And I thought that was pretty cool for your wife to have her own barbershop because I don't see that. You know, a lot of women doing that. And I'm like, and I'm seeing all these men like getting haircuts by her and super professional, right? And what gave you that, because you said she's the person that you trust out of everybody
I've ever met.
Why?
Well, she hasn't given me any reason to not trust her, 1. 2, I'm not insecure. Right? At 3, this is what she was doing when I met her.
But people want people to change.
But why would I want you to stop doing what you enjoy? You went to school to be a barber. You have your own shop. You were cutting hair when I met you.
Yeah.
I don't have to run up there every 5 minutes to check to see whose hair you're cutting. Any of that. I'm not insecure. Right?